Welcome to Strip Cover, where we squeeze the bigger picture of literature. I am Adrian Fort.
And I'm Dalton Gentry.
And we are here for a return to something that we tried earlier in the Strip Coverlet canon. That is book news.
Way back when.
Way back when.
Way back when.
I think we only had one episode.
It went over terribly.
That's what killed Dalton. He wanted that to work so bad.
Please put that on my tombstone when I die.
Wanted book news to work.
Wanted book news to work. But anyway, this is book news. Things that are coming up in the month of February that we thought would be of note. Important things, important birthdays, February stuff.
We've got 4 books, a festival, and 26 birthdays, I think, in 28 days of notable authors just within the Strip Coverlet sort of sphere of influence.
February, a good month for authors.
Yeah, I guess. Good month for popping them out.
So where do you want to start on this one here?
Astrophysics for Young People by Neil deGrasse Tyson is a book that will drop in February.
I'm excited for that. I like Neil deGrasse Tyson. I imagine my knowledge of astrophysics is for young people in a hurry.
Yeah,
so.
he's sort of encroaching upon Bill Nye's territory there, right? He's
I don't
trying
know,
to steal the audience from one of his science brethren.
Well, he encroached on Carl Sagan when he took over the cosmos, and it went over quite well. So he's making a name for himself. I'm excited for it. I think it's a good thing, getting young people interested in hard sciences.
Maybe that will end up in our book haul for kids next year. Merchants of Truth, The Business of News, and the Fight for Facts from Jill Abramson.
New York Times, New Yorker, one of the two, editor for that, major editor, coming out with this book here. So a lot of acclaim going out for that right now. Hopefully that's going to have some worth to it. Anytime that you get an editor for a major periodical load, stepping out and doing a book, always worth of note. You're usually going to get some good quality out of that.
Yeah. The Source of Self-Regard, Selected Essays, Speeches, and Meditations by Toni Morrison will drop February 12th from Knopf, the publisher Knopf.
That'll be a big one.
Yeah.
New stuff from Toni Morrison, some nonfiction from Toni Morrison, who, quite honestly, if there's somebody I want to sit and listen to, just tell me things. Toni Morrison's up there.
Okay.
So I think that'll be very interesting, and a major name as well. It's been a long time since we've heard a big drop from Toni Morrison, so I think it'll be interesting. I'm about it.
February 5th, from Riverhead Publishing, we will get Black Leopard, Red Wolf from Marlon James. That is the author of A Brief History of 7 Killings.
That took the Man Booker.
Yeah.
Did it take the Man Booker, or was it nominated for the Man Booker?
Maybe it was nominated.
It was a Man Booker nominee at one point.
For sure.
I can't remember. I'm usually really good at picking Man Bookers. I don't think that one...
Ahead of time.
Unless it was way back when before I cared about
Better at picking them ahead of time than remembering who won later.
That's true, that's true. But anyway.
What a Dalton thing to be able to do, right? Pick the Man Booker but not remember who won it?
I picked the Man Booker 3 days after it was announced. Anyway, this obviously a Man Booker quality author here. This should be something we can take note of. This should be a good piece of literature. Hopefully it goes over well for him. Excited to hear about it.
Also of note, in Savannah, Georgia, on February 16th. Savannah, is that right?
Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah. The Savannah Book Festival, at which George Saunders will be the keynote speaker.
George Saunders and his wife, actually, who I believe is debuting as a novelist as well.
Okay.
I think that would be interesting to read some of her work, just to see if there was any George influence in there, because George is a very weird guy.
Yeah, he's out there.
He's out there, and I think his writing style's out there, so I kind of want to see if maybe they have a mix of writing style. Maybe we see a little of I believe her name's Paula. I could be wrong there.
Don't ask me. I don't know anything about writers' private lives.
I don't know why. You seem like the guy who would know all about writers' private lives.
What?
I don't know.
You're making that up.
I am making that up. But it'd be interesting to see her writing style. And if you're in Savannah, I have no idea why you would not go listen to George Saunders speak.
Yeah. February 1st. Birthdays. We're moving on to notable author birthdays from the month of February. February 1st is the birthday of Langston Hughes, back in 1902.
Langston Hughes.
Langston Hughes.
I don't think you can say anything beyond that. Langston fucking Hughes.
Yeah. February 2nd, in 1882, gave us James Joyce.
And the world has been sad ever since. Everyone who struggled with a fucking portrait of the artist, the Dubliners.
You want to talk about the world has been sad ever since? On February 2nd in 1905, we were gifted the existence of Ayn Rand.
Oh my god. So basically, if you like to write extensive giant novels that no one ever reads, February's your month.
Speaking of no one ever reads, February 3rd gave us, in 1874, Gertrude Stein.
Gertrude Stein is a goddamn treasure. You do not speak ill of the Stein.
What have you read from Gertrude Stein?
Not a goddamn thing.
No.
But she's a treasure.
Neither of you. February 5th, in 1914, was the birth of William Burroughs.
Okay. What's that book called? I bought a William Burroughs book, Naked Lunch.
Okay.
I think it is. I think I read the first 5 pages of it before I just sat it down like, nope.
Not doing it?
Not today. Maybe another time, William.
Speaking of not today, in February 7th, 1812, Charles Dickens was born.
I would like to hope you can just like add this speaking of to everyone I talk about. I've never actually read a lot of Dickens. I had a teacher in high school who loved Charles Dickens. Older woman, taught Great Expectations every single year. That was her go-to. That was a big thing in her life, but I don't know.
When I was in grade school, I tried for 3 years in a row to read A Christmas Carol.
I feel like you either really, really like Dickens or you don't. There's no in-between.
There's no in-between. Well, no. I feel like you either really, really like Dickens or you pretend you know about Dickens.
Speaking of pretend to know about, did I get it?
Laura Ingalls Wilder in 1867.
I'll take that one.
You'll take
everybody knows Little House on the Prairie, but nobody knows Laura Ingalls Wilder. Everybody knows Laura. Yeah, never mind.
Laura Ingalls Wilder, actually, there is a huge industry around Laura Ingalls Wilder. Yeah. In Little House on the Prairie, all of these things. There is so much scholarship written on her every year that there are conferences.
The Conference of the Wilder?
Dedicated to Laura Ingalls Wilder.
I've seen they do Jane Austen conventions, too, where everybody dresses up like Victorian characters and just talks about how great Pride and Prejudice is.
Yeah, that's not an academic conference.
We should go. I'll wear a dress. It'll look great.
I know you will, Dalton. 1885, Sinclair Lewis was born.
I can't think of a thing from Sinclair Lewis.
Speaking of not thinking of a thing from Sinclair Lewis, in 1911, Elizabeth Bishop was born.
Nothing.
We read a lot of Elizabeth Bishop as undergrads.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
What'd she write?
I can't remember.
Oh.
I know the name. I know we had to read her.
That's fair. That's fair.
Speaking of, I know the name and I know we had to read her, but you didn't know. In 1850, February 8th, Kate Chopin was born.
The Awakening. I can give you The Awakening. I would like to note here, I have not looked at Adrian's list. He prepped this one on his own while I was looking for books of note, things like that, as we worked together. So if I look like a complete ass who has never read anything, it's because I am.
In 1828, Jules Verne was born on February 8th.
I have no idea who that is. I'm kidding.
Okay. February 8th, 1955, guess who was born?
1955?
1955.
I don't know. George Saunders.
No. John Grisham.
He doesn't count. He doesn't get to be on this list.
Anytime I go to the library, there are 300 John Grisham novels and a single Ernest Hemingway. He's going to make the list.
There's just a section
just
of like
to be facetious.
Things people read, and it's John Grisham and James Patterson and Nora Roberts.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't get to be on the list.
Yeah.
Moving on.
February 12th, 1938, Judy Blume.
Okay. Children's author. Major children's author, too. Paved the way for a lot of children's literature, could be argued.
Speaking of paving the way for children's literature, February 16th, 1944, Richard Ford. Not children's literature. I don't think I've read any Richard Ford.
I don't think I have.
I've read short stories by Richard Ford. We are going to work him onto the channel at some point. Communist by Richard Ford is a really, really good short story.
Communist, a children's tale.
February 18th, Toni Morrison.
Okay.
Second mention of Toni Morrison in this video.
Good play, Toni.
1931. 1934, Audre Lorde. February 19th. Okay. The Blank Face from Dalton. Speaking of a blank face from Dalton, February 19th, 1952, Dalton's favorite author was born.
Go on.
Amy Tan.
Oh, God. I thought I've rid my mind of the Joy Luck Club. Like, it's just gone at this point. I like to imagine, like, at one point, one of these authors who has a birthday is going to be watching this video, and they're going to be like, how fucking dare you? It's my birthday. Why would you say bad things about me? I don't like Amy Tan.
Speaking of saying bad things, the man who melded science fiction and horror possibly better than anyone, on February 20th, 1926 was born. That is Richard Matheson.
Okay, Richard Matheson deserves a spot on the list. I Am Legend is a treasure.
Yeah. February 21st, 1956, Ha Jin was born. February 21st, 1962, Chuck Palahniuk was born.
Oh, Chuck. How the mighty have fallen.
Yeah. Speaking of the mighty falling, February 22nd, 1892, Edna St. Vincent Millay was born.
I like to imagine there's at least one birthday that you peppered in here that, like, doesn't actually exist. You just made the name up. Never heard of it.
Never heard of it?
Never heard of it.
Maybe it's been washed from your mind.
Did we read it in college?
Speaking of washed from your mind, February 25th, 1917 saw the birth of Anthony Burgess.
Okay. I like me some Anthony Burgess. Clockwork Orange was a big book for me, especially in high school, early undergrad.
Speaking of Dalton in high school, February 26th, 1593, Christopher Marlowe was born.
Ah, yes. The man who would become Shakespeare. We should do a video on that.
I'm pretty proud of that transition. Actually.
That was good. That was good. I'll take it.
You were a theater geek in high school, right?
I was a theater geek in high school. I was the one that no one remembered.
The one that no one remembered. February 26th, 1802, Victor Hugo was born.
Oh, everybody knows Les Miserables. Everybody knows Les Miserables, only because it was made into a lovely musical. Nobody's read that. It's 1,000,000 pages long.
Yeah, I wish I'd flipped the two.
Yeah,
so that the high school would have been... Yeah.
I feel like I should have, like, birthday cake or something. I'm a little disappointed at this point.
Maybe we'll start doing that.
Maybe we should do something.
We'll start doing that for a book.
Do something.
February 20th, a mukbang with birthday cake.
Is that how it's pronounced?
I have no idea.
Okay. We'll figure it out.
You say it was mukbang? Is that what you thought?
I thought it was like mukbang.
Mukbang.
Mukbang?
I have no idea. Speaking of, I have no idea. February 27th, 1807. What?
Go on.
Henry Wadsworth Longfellow.
Okay. I thought, like, you literally had no idea. I'm like, why the fuck would you write it down then? It would make no sense.
Calm down, Salty.
Carry on. I'm excited for June now. All I can think of is, like, I hope he puts my name in the June birthdays. That's all I want.
I did not remember your birthday was in
know.
June.
It's fine.
I had no
it's
idea.
Fair.
We've got... It's not going to happen. We've got one author left. It's an author both of us really enjoy. February 27th, 1902, John Steinbeck was born.
Okay. I'm glad Steinbeck could round off our list there. I've never really been steered wrong with Steinbeck so far.
What a power play of a month as far as authors' birthdays go.
February's a good month.
Yeah.
Good month for authors. Good couple books coming out. And, again, if you're in Savannah, Georgia, good place to go see George Saunders.
Just listen to this lineup, just real quick. Langston Hughes, James Joyce, Ayn Rand, Gertrude Stein, William Burroughs, Charles Dickens, Laura Ingalls Wilder, Sinclair Lewis, Jules Verne, Kate Chopin, Elizabeth Bishop, John Grisham, Judy Blume, Richard Ford, Toni Morrison, Audre Lorde, Amy Tan, Richard Matheson, Ha Jin, Chuck Palahniuk, Edna St. Vincent Millay, Anthony Burgess, Christopher Marlowe, Victor Hugo, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, and John Steinbeck.
Something you should do, if there is an author on that list with whom you're not familiar or have never read before, you should definitely pick something up from them this month. It's their birth month, you should definitely pick it up, unless it's John Grisham. And you give it a read. Give it a go, see what it's like.
And if it is John Grisham, just give it a good burn.
Yeah, give it a good burn.
That is what we have time for here on Stripped Cover Lit. Hit like if you like this sort of thing. Let us know if you would like us to keep doing this feature. It's something that we thought was kind of fun to put together in a quick little video. Maybe informative, maybe just, hey, this is when your favorite author was born sort of thing. Hit subscribe if you are not subscribed, but you would like to be along for this type of content in the future. And if you would like to help us make more content here on Strip Cover Lit, there is, as always, a link to our Patreon to be found in the description below.